Good morning. My name is Joe Bandel, and I am the last Rosicrucian. Today we're going to begin with the first of 114 oak advantages for prosperity, happiness, and everything else that's good in our world. Now, these 114 advantages are inspired by the 114 Neotech advantages, which I earlier tried to comment on. The reality is, I've got to just be careful with copyright laws, things like that. So I can't really do commentary on the actual Neotech material, but I can come up with my own material, and that's going to be just as good because it is inspired by that material. So we're just going to jump in. And I've made some notes here. I'm going to be trying to read from my notes, but I'm going to try to clarify this as much as possible. Anyone can experience financial prosperity, psychic pleasures, and long-range happiness by satisfying his or her biological, emotional, mental, and spiritual needs. First, there's a recognition we have those needs. Then there's the recognition that each one of us has the ability to fulfill those needs. We have the power to do that. And if we don't do that, that's on us. That's not on somebody else. To do this, one needs the freedom to satisfy one's own healthy needs and set their own standards. Some things are more important to me than others. Some things are more important to you than others. Each one of us is an individual. We have individual standards. We have interests. And where we want to go in our lives, what makes life meaningful. And what makes life meaningful for one person does not necessarily mean it makes it meaningful for the others. We have to find our own niche, if you will. And do this without feeling obligated to fulfill someone else's standards or expectations of us. And everywhere around us, people have expectations that we're supposed to meet. Our parents have expectations of us. Our spouse has expectations of us. Our government or our church have expectations of how we should act, what we should believe, and what we should do in our lives. These are all external authorities that are trying to influence us. We're interested in finding our true purpose, why we're really here. And that requires freedom. But in freedom, a person's actions, they need to contribute to the well-being of those we love, our community, and our world. And what's powerful is when we actually find our niche in life, everything, the cosmic, the community, our loved ones, they all get behind us. And it works. If it's not working, we're not doing what is truly that we're truly meant to be doing. That's the point that I'm making here. We do this by discovering our true purpose in life, that which we are truly meant to do, that which makes our lives a joyous adventure of new discovery. Not the same old thing, it's constant newness, constant challenge, but they're acceptable challenges. To make our lives an adventure. Is your life an adventure? Can it be an adventure? Everyone's life can become an adventure. This is the message. How do we make our lives an adventure? We discover this by listening, by learning to listen to the still small voice of conscience, the Master within, the Christ Spirit within each human heart, that if we listen, will guide us and direct us in the proper way. Over and over and over again, this internal authority is the supreme. That is what we need to be thinking about. All these other external authorities that are trying to tell us what to do are trying to distract us and cause us to deviate from what our conscience is telling us to do. All these external authorities are trying to override our inner guidance system, our inner compass, for their own purposes. This inner, still small voice of conscience must always be our guide and ultimate authority. There are those who would prevent us from doing what we're supposed to be doing by establishing and creating external authorities over us. They're afraid to give the individual that much empowerment. They want the power. And that is why we're going to be calling those people neo-cheaters, because they destroy value rather than create values. Anybody that's trying to use force to force us into compliance of something that we don't believe is right, that we feel at our core, we feel it's wrong, there's an issue here. And if you want prosperity, happiness, things like that, you can't submit. That's the bottom line here. We've got to stand up for what we feel inside is right. So, what is the nature of man and woman? How can we find prosperity, love, and happiness in this world? How can we find what we are truly meant to do in life? That is what these 114 oak advantages are going to be dealing with. They're going to show us, to teach us, guide us in how to find and listen to that inner still small voice that speaks, the Master within. Now, there's two kinds of people in this world, and you're going to recognize them right away. The loser will say that human beings are by nature evil, irrational, and destructive. They might even be called sinful and unclean. Does that ring a bell? The human race, humans, they must be subordinate to higher causes. They must be controlled and manipulated by some higher authority or government and forced to serve others or society, because left to their own devices, they're going to be dangerous. That's the story that we get. But if you look at the spirit of the Old West, where there was no law, absolute freedom, and everybody kind of made their own way, it didn't work that way. There was honor, there was intrigue, there was danger, there was outlaws, there was that too, but there was a spirit of cooperation. There was a spirit of community. And we've lost that in today's world. We've got to get it back. The winner will understand that humans are by nature good, rational, and productive, or mankind couldn't even exist. We've made it this far through cooperation, through adaptation, living together. Human beings have the right to fill their needs and find happiness by being free to act according to their own inner nature. They will provide lasting values for themselves, those they love, their community, and to the entire world. This can best be achieved without force of coercion from any authority or government. Do you get that? Do you believe in people? Do you believe that people are by nature kind, loving, human? Or do you believe in the evil that's in humanity? Because, in a way, there's both. You can find both. But which one do you believe in? Which one is more powerful? Our shadow side is erupting in our communities today. The evil is breaking out, but that evil is repressed hostility, repressed anger, repressed rage from injury, from being hurt. It's not because we're by nature that way. It's because these people have been hurt, and hurt bad, and they're lashing out. It's because they have been manipulated and controlled and brainwashed and infected with thoughts and ideas and narratives that are not in their best interest. They've been forced to live, to work, and to play in a world that is not one that they would really choose. Unless your life is an adventure, there's something not right. Life should be exciting. There should be a reason to get up in the morning. Today in our society, we find many external authorities that are attempting to manipulate and control us. Though they are neo-cheaters. Neo-cheaters is a word to describe these people. Neotech used that word, they conned that word, created that word, and it's a word that I'm going to be using because it's time to take our world back. It's time to get rid of the neo-cheaters, those who would destroy everything that we're trying, every good value that we're trying to create in our lives. Thank you.